Fishermen set out on a drifting voyage through -20 degrees centigrade ice fields where the wind slices like a blade and the freezing swells never sleep. To bring in heavy snow crab hauls, they pay with sweat, health, and numb hands on an ice-glazed deck. Watch this video to see how they battle brutal cold and dangerous seas, how they survive through endless nights and biting winds, and why one perfectly timed crab haul can bring home a massive payout.
A vast Arctic deep slope fades into blue darkness, gravel and boulders crisp in cold, clear water.
A red-ring jelly pulses above rubble, drifting slowly as fine particles shimmer in cold blue water.
A wide seabed panorama shows sand patches and rock outcrops, dim light fading into deep quiet.
A distant oarfish silhouette glides far above the slope, adding scale without breaking seabed calm.
Many giant snow crabs migrate together across gravel, legs stepping in rhythm as claws lift and settle calmly. 6 to 10 snow crabs cluster near a boulder, legs sweeping sand as spines and shells show crisp detail.
2 snow crabs tap claws briefly, then separate as the group continues moving across cold gravel. Snow crabs cross a sand patch, long legs leaving tracks as pale, spiny shells gleam softly.
One giant snow crab walks past the lens, spines sharp and long legs moving with slow, steady control.
A dense group climbs over rubble, many bodies visible and intact as legs pick their way steadily.
Snow crabs pause and raise claws, then resume moving untouched as particles drift through cold water. Dozens of giant snow crabs spread across gravel, moving in slow unison with calm deep-sea pacing.
Crew stacks heavy crab pots, checking funnels and rings, while trap line coils cleanly into rope bins. Men cut oily bait and load cages, keeping motions fast as cold spray and frost glaze the steel deck. Hydraulic block and davit get checked, preparing for rough seas and drifting ice around the working stern.
The tall hull runs through brash ice, flows sliding past rub rail as cold spray rises and drains.
Lane buoys get staged and rope ends secured, pot doors latched as the crew prepares a clean set.
First pots slide to the rail, and crew braces and signals while ice floes drift beyond the stern wake. An empty pot swings on the davit, showing slow, controlled motion before heavy, full pots start hauling.
Bait cages and knots get checked, and live tank pumps get tested for a high-volume crab haul.
Crab pots drop one by one, rope paying out fast as waves slap hull and ice flues roll nearby.
A baited crab pot settles on gravel, and snow crabs turn toward it as scent spreads through cold water. Multiple snow crabs approach funnels, long legs stepping fast as claws probe mesh and bait scent grows.
2 snow crabs push into a funnel, moving toward the bait cage as legs scrape wire with steady force.
Inside the pot, many snow crabs crowd bait, long legs tangled while shells stay intact and anatomically correct.
More snow crabs enter and pack the pot, escape rings visible as bodies crowd with strict realism. Dozens of giant snow crabs fill the pot, bait cage nearly hidden as legs and claws shift constantly.
The line tightens and the pot lifts, sediment puffing as crabs brace inside against wire mesh walls.
The pot drags across sand and lifts, leaving a clear track as crab legs press mesh and shift positions.
Swell grows beside the hull, brash ice bumping along as scuppers pour and cold spray thickens. Men lean back sweating as the davit hauls a heavy pot, rope taut while waves slam stern rails hard.
A pot breaks the surface, packed crabs visible through mesh as water streams off in freezing spray.
The pot swings aboard and lands, and crew steadies it as long crab legs press against wire and spray.
The door opens, and many snow crabs spill out, crawling fast across wet steel with legs sweeping wide.
Men sort and band claws quickly, keeping crabs intact as spray and sweat mix on cold steel deck. Dozens of snow crabs drop into aerated tanks, bubbles roaring as water sloshes under steady roll.
A moray eel peers from a crevice, mouth opening slowly as cold particles drift across the rocky slope. A red-ringed jelly drifts upward, pulsing gently as the deep water stays quiet and clear.
A second pot sits packed with crabs, funnels busy as legs shift around the bait cage constantly.
The second pot lifts slowly, sediment cloud forming as crabs press mesh and brace against rising tension.
A second pot dumps fast, dense crabs spill and crawl as crew corrals the moving mass with calm control.
A giant snow crab sits on wet deck, spiny shell clear as long legs flex under hard spray.
Larger waves strike the hull, ice flows grinding past rub rail as scuppers drain non-stop.
Men haul hard, and a giant snow crab sprawls across deck, legs long, shell spiny, fully intact.
Men brew strong coffee in the galley, mugs steaming. Warm light fights cold outside. Gentle sway persists.
Simple breakfast cooks in a pan. Men talk and laugh quietly. Wet gear hangs to dry nearby.
Hands slice bread and spread butter. Mugs clink softly. Stainless counters clean. Engine vibrations steady.
Men eat shoulder to shoulder, relaxed smiles. Steam rises as cold weather hums outside the bulkhead.
A cook stirs stew on a burner, bowls ready, calm routine between heavy pot hauls and spray.
Coffee refills from a metal pot. Tired faces but upbeat mood. Warm light on sunburned skin.
Men share plain canned food and rice. Rough hands pass bowls. Friendly chatter. No screens or signs.
Men joke over coffee mugs. One taps a spoon. Laughter soft. Tight space feels lived in.
Counter gets wiped and bowls stacked. Kettle hisses. Ship motion steady. Warm light stays practical. Men sip coffee and stare out a small porthole glow. Calm break before the next haul.
Plates clear and gloves go on. Men stand and head back toward the deck door in unison.
Night ocean surrounds the hull. Ice flows drifting as deck glow reflects across black water under cold air.
Under floodlights, men hook pot line to the hauler as spray glitters and ice flues drift nearby.
A night pot rises aboard, crabs visible through mesh as water streams off, and lights glare on spray. The pot dumps under bright lamps, and crabs crawl in sharp shadows as men corral them quickly. Men band claws fast at night, keeping crabs intact as bubbling live tanks churn beside the table. In dim underwater blue, snow crabs enter funnels and crowd bait as particles drift slowly.
A taut rope lifts the pot at night, sediment rising as crab legs press mesh and shift positions.
In the live tank, snow crabs stay upright and crawl over each other as aeration it roars and water sloshes.
Swell hits the hull at night, brash ice bumping along as spray flashes in deck light.
Men sip coffee on deck at night, talking and laughing briefly as dark ocean and ice drift beyond.
Pots get restacked and rope coils tight, while live tanks stay packed with moving crabs and bubbles.
A baited pot drops into darkness, rope paying out smoothly as floodlights glare on wet steel. The vessel silhouette rides swell at night, drifting ice around as forward motion stays steady and controlled. A distant oarfish passes far above the seabed, ribbon body gliding as the slope stays still.
A pot sits crowded with giant crabs, bait cage nearly hidden as legs and claws shift constantly. The rope snaps taut and drags the pot fast, a bigger sediment cloud trailing as crabs brace inside.
A heavy pot slams aboard, packed with giant snow crabs, long legs pressed to mesh in freezing spray.
The deck floods with crawling crabs, dozens moving at once as crew corrals them into bins quickly.
Storm swell rises, cold spray sheeting off rub rail as ice floes scatter and scuppers pour non-stop.
A third pot sits packed with snow crabs, legs shifting constantly as bait scent thickens in cold water. The line snaps taut and drags the pot across sand, sediment billowing while crabs brace against mesh.
Crew strains at the hauler as freezing spray hits faces, ice flues drift past, and rope stays tight. A loaded pot breaks the surface beside the rail, water streaming off wire as waves slam hard. The pot door opens and a dense mass of giant snow crabs spills out, crawling across wet steel.
Men sort and band claws fast, stacking crabs into bins while the deck rolls and spray whips sideways.
Live tanks churn with aeration as dozens of snow crabs climb and pile, legs moving under constant bubbles.
At waterline, the tall hull cuts through brash ice, scuppers pouring as cold spray sheets off rub rail.
A moray eel peers from a crevice as a red-ring jelly drifts above, both calm in Arctic blue.
Crew clips the next pot line to the block, checks knots, then hauls again as waves hammer stern.
A fresh baited pot settles onto gravel and sand, and snow crabs converge in numbers toward the funnels.
Men brace at steady hydraulic pull, rope tension clear as waves slam rail and spray hits faces.
A dense mass of giant crabs pours out, crawling everywhere as crew keeps calm control and fast sorting.
Crabs drop into aerated tanks, bubbles roaring as water sloshes and tanks packed tight with motion. Pots get lashed and ropes coiled, haulers locked as live tanks hum steadily with strong aeration. The hull runs smoother after storm, ice flows drifting as spray lightens and scuppers still drain.
Crew celebrates beside a huge pile of snow crabs on ice, long legs intact in cold spray.
A wide deck shows stacked crab bins, and men raise fists briefly before returning to strict handling. Seawater hoses wash crab shells clean, runoff racing to scuppers as handling stays fast and controlled.
Snow crabs layer into insulated totes with crushed ice, keeping a strict cold chain on deck.
Plain insulated boxes fill with chilled crabs and gel ice, tape sealing tight with no labels or text. Sealed boxes stack on pallets, straps tightening as a crane hook lifts loads safely for shore transfer.
The 150-meter vessel returns at sunset, warm reflections rippling as ice thins and wake stays smooth.
Forklifts move plain pallets to refrigeration, keeping cold chain fast and controlled on a wet, glistening dock.
Manifest is signed, doors are sealed. All right, I'm pulling out. See you tomorrow.
Let's get these organized quickly. We need the fish ready for the evening service.
Yes, chef. Right away.
It's magnificent. Exactly as promised, the legs are fully intact.
A true specimen, chef.
Crab sections get cleaned and rinsed gently, stationed spotless as warm villa lighting keeps details clear.
Crab legs steam in a large pot, real condensation forming as the kitchen stays calm and precise.
Crab legs get plated with lemon and butter, elegant dishware matching a quiet luxury villa dining hall.
Your blue crab, sir. Enjoy your meal. Thank you.
Male diners taste crab and nod, calm satisfaction showing as soft lights glow across marble surfaces. The kitchen wipes down clean, empty boxes stacked as melting ice drains, and service stays smooth.
Nightfall settles, and a distant vessel silhouette rests near port lights as calm water reflects soft glow.
A calm Arctic sea closes the episode,
scattered ice drifting as a distant ship moves away steadily.
Men smile and count cash quietly, then secure pots and ropes for the next trip with calm discipline.